The following broadcast is a Nighthawk Network presentation. This is the nope. See, I almost did it, y'all. Remember last week we was talking about we needed to change the name to something a little bit more mouth audaciously left or what have you. Yeah, I just made up a word today. Anyway, Guru's Sports Session, period. Flat. Ebuck, co-host. Hughley, host. Go.
Yeah, man. First off, I want to start off by talking about what's going on with the MLB, the World Series, man. It was a good ALCS. Well, I can't say it was good because both teams basically got blew out. Kind of figured, man, the Cleveland Guardians played well this year, but then when I look at it, I feel like it's supposed to have been the Tigers. It didn't matter who was going to be there because at the end of the day, I feel like the Yankees had the most talent as far as the bats and, not really the pitching, but still they survived. It seemed like it was an easier road through the ALC. Yes, going into the World Series, but then of course you had it Dodgers, and I feel like they were technically the best two teams in baseball in the AL and NL in the whole season, and they will be facing each other coming up this Friday. And like you said, E-Man, don't really matter. Well, it does matter to me. I'm a Yankees fan, been a Yankees fan for a while, man. But I just want it to be a good actual World Series because I felt like from the beginning, from the playoffs, from the playing games till now, it's been way better and the ratings have been up. As far as the games go, but yeah, I'm pulling for the Yankees, but I wouldn't lose sleep if they lost to a team like the Los Angeles Dodgers because they're so talented too. They both pay for their rosters, but that's what they're there for World Series chance. And right now, I feel like the edge goes to the Dodgers. I think they're the favorite going into it, but I have to say, because I feel like all in all, the talent is there, but the pitching is a little stronger too, in my opinion.
Okay, we know in the end, three people win, or three sets of people win in this. One, MLB wins because obviously, if you could map out a World Series and what you want, it don't get much better than having your two largest markets face each other in the World Series. New York, LA. MLB happy with that. It's good for sales and all. Two, MLB overall actually had a decent season. They did get more people in the ballpark. They did sell more merchandise. They did have more people view it on TV. So that was good for them, and this is only going to help those numbers. 3, basically, the 2 largest markets, also probably the 2 biggest fan bases in baseball. You pretty much can go anywhere in the country, hell, anywhere in the world, and you'll see somebody with that NY on their hat or that LA on their hat. It's pretty much fan base that travels around the world, especially now. Now that we got international players, particularly on the Dodgers, you know, it's probably more LA fans that live in Japan right now than maybe in LA. But that being said, I'm looking forward to this World Series. This is a matchup of 2 teams. We got basically the 2 biggest stars in the league. When you look at Shohei Ohtani on the one end and his MVP season, and you got Aaron Judge and hey guys, I do apologize for the technical difficulties that we're having at the moment. We are going to kind of reboot this a little bit. So let me take a commercials, and hopefully when we come back, we can get things rolling normally here on the show known as Guru Sports Session with your boy Hugh Lee and E-Buck. Back after a quick commercial break from this, the Nighthawk Network. Nighthawk Network, our voices for our people.
On Blog Talk Radio or where most great music podcasts are located. Don't forget to subscribe and show some love.
Season. So, you got best batter on best batter. The pitching, that's going to be the key. I feel like the Dodgers have the edge in that in terms of the pitching, particularly in the starting situation. I think they got a little bit better bullpen in terms of the middle rotation of the bullpen. The Yankees probably maybe had the better closer of the 2 teams. In the end, much like you, I really don't care who wins. Keep in mind, I am a Tigers fan, but I am a fan of the Dodgers. I have been since the 80s when they had great people on that squad like Lasorda and, of course, Mike Social, who went on to be a pretty good manager in the majors. And of course, I'd be remiss to not mention, since we're talking Dodgers, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do a very good job of honoring him on Friday, the loss of the great Fernando Valenzuela, who died yesterday at the age of 62. I was very hurt to hear that. Fernando was one of my favorite players growing up. And you know, with the looking in the sky and all that, he was pitching.
That's the guy who used to look in the sky when he pitched and all that crazy stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was the one who made people, to the point, not trying to cut you off, even since you said that, but he didn't. He was the guy that made you distracted at the plate. When you look like, man, what the heck is he doing? By the time you really get into your swing, he already threw the ball. Yeah, that dude was pretty cool to watch.
Right. Not to mention, he helped me because he was the first pitcher that I knew of that threw a screwball, and you know that made me want to learn how to do it, and you know that actually helped me out a little bit back in the days when I was playing a little baseball. So, yeah, definitely thoughts and prayers to his family, thoughts and prayers to the Dodger organization, and I just want them to win it for him, if nothing else. But in the end, the Yankees win. It ain't the end of the world for me either.
No, because like you said, man, don't get it twisted, people. You know, we still Detroit Tigers fans, but I've been a Yankee fan for a while, you know, with some of the guys that they had coming up on the team even before A-Rod, you know. So in this case, it's just I like what they did now before they got all those stars on the team. Before Aaron Judge was really Aaron Judge, I like the fact that they had him and, you know, Gary Sanchez and some of the young guys from the farm system, and they was building through their farm system. I thought that was actually pretty cool to see what they did and what they've done over the last few years. But yeah, just really excited to see a really good World Series right now, man. Like you said, it ain't no losers in this, man. You got the best two big market teams, and it's going to be really good, man. I definitely feel like this is going to be one that we're going to get a lot of the fans to watch, the fan base, and everything's going to pick up, man. And I just really think this one's going to do it. It's going to set records, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think hopefully they schedule the series games that they don't coincide with a lot of the football. I think they'll get ratings over the NBA right now because it's still early on in the season and ain't really that many marquee matchups these first couple of weeks. But obviously, if one of the World Series games is coming on the same time as football, Sunday night and whatnot, that's probably going to be a conflict of interest with some people. But again, like I said, because you got the two biggest markets, LA and New York, they should get good numbers regardless. And the ideal world, as a person that loves baseball, that being my first love, I want a good series. I actually wanted to go 7. I would love if it was like the type of series that we got with the WNBA, where it all went down to the wire and we got overtime in the last game. Overtime World Series Game 7, that would be awesome.
It wouldn't even get any better to have.
Right. So in the end, like I said, no matter who wins and who loses, I just want a good series.
Yeah, man, I definitely feel like this is really good for baseball too. And then at the time too, it was funny because I believe like right before the season, that's when Juan Soto joined the Yankees, and then you start seeing all these moves with, you know, the Dodgers. So yeah, it was cool to see the season even rev up like that. And to get down to those last two teams, man, that was definitely something that's worth mentioning. And I'm glad to see it, you know. But yeah, man, it's good for baseball because we felt like, man, this could possibly be the World Series from the talent standpoint, and it became a reality.
Yeah, the only bad thing about it, Hugh, because you know me and you pretty much have determined that we don't smurf with Taco Bell no more. So, of course, when they do the steal a taco scenario, as they always do, and hopefully Shohei is the one who wins the taco for everybody, I won't participate this year because taco hell, we just can't do it no more. My stomach says no.
We need to start playing games too, man, because it was the pick 6, man. We'd have got those free Buffalo Wild Wings, the boneless wings, man, just recently when, you know, the Washington Commanders got the pick 6, man. But then, you know, true. Haven't really been eating out too much. I know I haven't, man. Been trying to watch that for the time being, man. And just really to the point where I just feel like when we watch the sports, man, like you said, October is a really good time to be watching, man. And speaking of, man, not even trying to get off into, the next segment. But yeah, it is time for the next segment, man, or the next topic. And I wanted to talk about the NBA, man, the kickoff game that just happened yesterday. And it was funny because we talked about it a little bit. We meant to talk about it earlier when we went out for a quick second, but then as we was going to the house, that's when we started talking more or less about it, man. That first game wasn't even worth watching. And when I seen it at the half, I said, man, this can't be serious right now. As bad as they getting beat, like, man, it's the half, man. It's like the game was almost over. And then I really still like it. I feel like it could have got worse. Even then we seen they set all the starters out at the end because they made 29 threes. And that's what you were saying. They starting to try to be like a East Coast Golden State, man. And 29 3-pointers made, dude. It's like they're going to probably live by the 3 and die by the 3, like you were saying. But yeah, that game was ridiculous. It wasn't even worth watching after the half.
If you notice, they actually went to that style of basketball after that finals where they lost to Golden State.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was one of those, we can't beat them, we might as well join them. The only difference is that team is very young, and they got a multitude of people that can handle the ball. They got a multitude of people that can shoot the ball. They got a multiple of people that they be like, oh, okay, that's your best player. We can put him on you. Then we can put him on you. Then we can put him on you. They got too many weapons not to at least be in the conversation of, okay, they possibly could repeat. If they play like they played last night against a Knicks team that's supposed to be one of the better teams in the East, they play like that all season and stay healthy, they repeat flat out.
Wow.
And it ain't even going to be close.
And then one thing I didn't really pay attention to that you was talking about, we was always looking at Jaylen Brown and how he felt like he got, threw to the side and got disrespected. But it was good to see now that with him, that the fact that I just think he's playing in himself, man, but no, it was like we didn't pay attention to what was going on with Jason Tatum too, because Jason Tatum should be feeling some kind of way to go to the Olympics and then not even get that opportunity,
Yeah.
So that's salt right there.
That chip on his shoulder right there.
That was salt. I thought you said he was feeling salty, but yeah, that's funny.
Oh yeah, he's feeling real salty, and you could tell last night just by some of his facial expressions. He on a mission, and if both of them on a mission, and they both feel that way about it, and they carry everybody else with them, yeah, it's gonna be some nights they blow teams out of existence.
Because that 37 and 10 was ugly yesterday. That was a mean 37 and 10 assists, man. But yeah, it was just like to the point where I was like, man, I hope the Knicks improve, because we've already said yesterday, and no disrespect to Cat, if Cat don't play within himself as a 7-footer and be in the post and try to shoot them threes and try to be all pretty and finesse, man, it ain't gonna last. But at the same time, we know that dude be having issues too when it comes to him being healthy. We know that he has issues.
Get your big in the post. Damn this new NBA crap. Get your big in the post. Learn you some post moves. Handle your proper business.
I'm hoping that he play within himself, man, and help that team that way. Because if that happens again this year or something like that, man, people gonna start talking. But then at the same time, we can't really say too much, because we know too what happened the second game as well, man, which kind of surprised me, man. I thought that Minnesota would definitely put it to the Lakers, man, and for the Lakers to come out on top. But then that was an AD we don't really rarely see, man. We seen an AD on the mission, and AD was being a center, and he played like it, and he played within himself, man, because AD never really liked to play the center position, but when we see him play, man, he balled out yesterday, man. And got a block on Rudy Gobert, man, and he was basically talking his talk and walking his walk too, as well.
Yeah, it looked like AD gonna continue from what he did last year. I think perhaps he still got that chip on his shoulder, saying, "Look, tired of y'all talking about me for not being healthy and whatnot. I know I'm that dude. I'm about to show y'all what is really good." And meanwhile, of course, we would be remiss not to mention the history that was made last night as LeBron James and his son Bronny became the first father and son team to play in an NBA game together. I thought that was a great moment for basketball. There's several people online that feel some type of way about it. Me personally, I feel like Smurf y'all and the horse you rode in on, because part of the people that feel that way, they feel that way because LeBron and Bronny look like me. Some of y'all feel that way because, you know, you basically are elitist and feel like, yeah, Bronny didn't earn it. We know he didn't. That's flat. Okay. Straight up. Just like how Giannis got his brother on his squad, taking up a roster spot and has done it for years, and ain't enough people mention that. Same with that. And like I said, don't even be surprised if Bronny don't ever spend a day in the G League. If every time you see him, he gonna be with the Lakers and they're gonna purposely put him in for 2 and 3 minutes at a time, I'm not mad at any of that. Okay, one, because I'm not a Lakers fan, and two, because I am a LeBron fan, and I feel like if you are one of the faces of the league, if not the face of the league, you have earned the right to do that. Okay, so let Bronny live. And in the meanwhile, it was good that his family was there. It was also nice that it was his little sister's birthday, so she got to witness that that history on her birthday, her 10th birthday. That was kind of cool as well. But yeah, in terms of the Lakers and the game itself, yeah, the Lakers actually look like they are more engaged than last year. Okay, if they play like that consistently, that should get them in the playoffs. What they do once they get there, that's another story. But yeah, I like what I saw, and yeah, it appears that LeBron is definitely looking to say, "Look, AD, this you, bruh. I got your back, but this you, man."
Definitely with the points and how he stood up yesterday, man. Because for the most part, you will see LeBron James having a big game, and he'll just chime in. Speaking of AD, but this time AD had like 36 points, man, and I forgot how many rebounds. Let me see, but yeah, that man went off, man. He 36 and 16, man. That's like a beast game right there for him. He ate all day yesterday, and it was just
really right. And played well defensively too. Absolutely.
Yeah, and on both halves he played well, man. And I definitely hope that he embraced that center role, man. That's the weird part, man. When they be that big and they be that tall, that they want to be a powerful, or they want to play and shoot threes and do all that finesse stuff, man. And because I feel to the point where we have some of the best centers coming up in the 80s and the 90s, man. And what I was just disappointed with, though, man, is at one point, and I know we talked about this a while ago, they was trying to get the center position out of the game, man, and try to make it like more of a hybrid position. And I'm like,
right, more like what we see in the WNBA and women's college basketball is, where basically they kind of going more of a 3 forward, 2 guard scenario, or sometimes even the 3 guard, 2 forward scenario. There's very few people that actually list as center. But yeah, remember, it's a little different in the case of AD. Remember, he was a guard for most of his life until that last year or two coming out of high school when he had the growth spurt. So the reason why he has some of the skills that he does is because he played as a guard until one day he woke up and he was 16. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, because that dude he's really impressive, man. And I hope that he step up and take that leader role, because LeBron taking that step back now, man. He doing the D Wade now when LeBron went to Miami. So I'm hoping that AD eat off of that, man, and feed off that, get that energy, and be the team leader and have that leadership that they need to take them to the next heights, man. Because right now the West is only getting better, man. Everybody been complaining and saying that the Lakers haven't really did enough to go to the next level, or even feel like that they even really in playoff contention.
That part.
All right, no disrespect, man. We kind of talked about the NBA, man, brushed on it a little bit. We're going to talk more in depth after the games that happened tonight. And we're going to move forward now, man, and we're going to focus on some of the college games that happened, man. And I want to start off with number 7.
Now, hold on, Hugh. Remember, that time of year, you got to be more specific. College what, sir?
College football.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, college is so much stuff, but, yeah, I want to put the football on, center stage right now.
There you go.
Yeah, number 7 Alabama versus number 10 Tennessee. And what I seen, I couldn't even really be bad, but I just feel like what the good things that we saw from Jalen Milroe is starting to become bad things now, man. It's like when he was making good decisions with his leg and with his arms, he's not really doing that. I think to the point is, and I'm not trying to be funny, but you probably seen this too, and you know this just from watching the games. He depends too much on Ryan Williams. He doesn't really have nobody outside him at the receiver position. And that's what I've been seeing. When their tight end got banged up, I said, man, they don't have nobody else besides the tight end and Ryan Williams, man. And they need to start finding other people because they could easily double team that guy and he's going to struggle. And that's what I've been seeing with Jalen Milroe right now. And no disrespect to, and we keep bringing it back to this. It's going to be different, man, because you don't have that guy, the man, the GOAT of college football anymore, and Nick Saban on the sideline, man. So, Kevin DeBoer going to have to go through his growing pains. And right now, man, to lose to a team like Vanderbilt, and like I said, man, we're not disrespecting them. They in the SEC, man. And, when you got conference play, it hit different. But Saban wouldn't have lost to no Vanderbilt. And, even if Saban did lose a game, man, it wouldn't be like to the point where you knew the whole game that they just wasn't going to be it or that had that it factor. You have to surprise them. The games that they've lost recently over the years, it hasn't really been blowouts. It's been more or less from field goals or a last-minute 2-point conversion or something, man. But when Tennessee took that lead and comfortably went up with the touchdown, I was like, man, I don't see them losing this game, man, because I just didn't feel like Alabama had enough in them, man, and they looked defeated. But, in years ago, man, my blood pressure would be going crazy and I'd be, losing and texting you like 1,000 times, man. Now I just had to really get to the point where I had to say, NIL, the transfer portal, plays a lot to do with it now, man. You cannot be upset with that because, like you said, with Michigan, man, we'll be talking about them next with the quarterback position right now, man. If you don't give guys their credit or let them play, man, and they're 5-star, 4-star recruits, guess what? Now it's really a what have you done for me lately league right now. College football, man, you go to the next best team or a team where you feel like you can get the NIL money and they'll make sure that you start and get the opportunity, So, yeah, that part, man. I wanted to know your thoughts of that game because it was like nobody wanted to win it at one point.
I mean, first of all, that first half, it was really a defensive struggle. And it's hard in this day and age of power offenses and whatnot to see a game like that and be engaged. A lot of people, they don't like defensive football. You know what I'm saying? I mean, me personally, I like a good game where the two teams is matching up well and they getting things together and, it could go either way. And I felt that's how it went that first half. That second half, and this is where they missed Saban the most. Saban was one of the best ever at making halftime adjustments so that in the second half, you didn't get a lot of the problems you may have had in the first half. Remember, last year, there was problems with Milroe early on in the season. You recall that?
Yeah.
And of course, the solution at that point was, look, you're going to sit down. I want you to see what you're not doing right. Let me put these other kids in because here at Alabama, we got 5-star on 5-star on 5-star. We can afford to sit you down. They don't have those luxuries anymore in Alabama and pretty much any team in the country that's probably not Ohio State or Georgia right now, or even Oregon for that matter. Because, like I said, those players that would have sat and just been happy with playing at Alabama because they was going to get that good stuff and probably still make the league, they're not doing that no more. The money out there, okay? The team's saying, look, we're going to pay you this, this, and this, and you can start right now. So, yeah, sometimes you're going to be stuck with a Milroe or the receiving core that is not. See what you're doing, man. Come on back to us.
What the heck just happened, E? That was the weirdest thing ever.
You've been over there pressing buttons. I know y'all done seen a few quirky things. That ain't me. That's whatever you doing over there, okay? You will not blame the production staff for whatever you got going. But anyway,
weird.
You know, like I said, this is not your family's Alabama. And I'm also glad, Hugh, that you're starting to listen to me in terms of how we view today's college football, because like you said, because of transfer portal, because of NIL, it's not going to be the same anymore. You can't get upset at the squad like that because they're not going to have the type of talent stockpiled in the back to where, okay, yeah, you ain't doing right. Let me put this other All-American 5-star in instead. They ain't going to happen like that at Alabama, Michigan, or most of these other schools moving forward. So you just going to kind of have to contend with it. But yeah, and again, Hugh, I keep telling you, stop putting that disrespect on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt a good team this year. I know in the past they've been crap and garbage, but this year Vanderbilt got a good squad. Keep in mind, if they wasn't in the SEC right now, they probably be top 20.
I wouldn't be surprised, man, because it seems like everybody want to go to the team to take down the, evil empire teams. They want to take down the Alabamas, the Tennessees, and the Texas, and all, man.
The Oregons and the Ohio State, et cetera, yeah.
Good to see that now, man, because you don't want to put some people like me. If I ever had that opportunity, I wouldn't want to play for them teams, man. I want to play for the team that, I'm an underdog team that takes them down, man. That's just been my MO all the time, man. And that's just who I am.
I think the smart thing that most of these college kids should remember moving forward, and I sent you that little thing earlier, 7% of all your high school football players go to college and play collegiate sports, okay? Out of that 7%, only 1.5% go to the next level, which is pro level. Okay. Mm-hmm. So out of the thousands and thousands of kids playing college football right now, only a few of them gonna step up to that next level and get their money. And then remember, the average NFL career is like 3 or 4 years. So at this point, you gotta look at it like, okay, what can I do to maximize my situation? So in the end, if I can get an NIL deal and play at Okie Dokie State, be the man at Okie Dokie State, man. You may not be on TV as much, or because I get enough money to where I got my own ride and my mama's crib and stuff is paid for. Even if I get the 4 years and that's all I get, I still have made out better than just basically going to Okie Dokie State and get my degree in business management and then getting basic job ABC after the fact. So people gonna start looking at this thing differently, and because of that, the game gonna be different.
Yeah, man. Because I know me, man, financially, if I could have just had a career just being the backup quarterback, man, and just basically just was like what was my man's name? Charlie Whitehurst, the dude they call Clipboard Jesus.
Yes, sir.
He was like a backup quarterback, man. I know he made a pretty good living, man. Comfortable. He didn't really have to worry about getting hurt or anything. He went in.
Bottom line, I think of people like Teddy Bridgewater. That brother that made more money than I would ever make in my lifetime. Just pretty much being a backup.
Sometimes that ain't a bad thing, man. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah, man, think about it, man. Just him being a backup, man, a lot of people couldn't be able to deal with him just on the regular, man. Like, high school kids can compete with him, or kids in college, If you get on that level of the pros, NFL, you have to do something good. So congratulations to the ones who get that opportunity, man. Because like you said, it's not easy, man.
Right, and keep in mind, most of these quarterbacks that's in the NFL right now, they're relatively young. Take out the Aaron Rodgers of the world. Most of your quarterbacks, 25, 27, somewhere in that range. So a lot of these kids that's coming out of college right now, guess what? A lot of them ain't about to be no starter. A lot of them gonna end up being backups, if that. Get your money while you can.
It's not really too many that I've seen this year is going to definitely go and take a team by storm right now.
Not at all. Developmental draft at best.
Speaking of, too, I want to talk about Michigan and Illinois game, man. That was something that I didn't.
Speaking of developmental.
That was something I didn't expect, and I've been more disappointed with the Michigan situation than anything, because I feel like at this point I wish that we did have a quarterback, man. That might make a difference, because I feel like the defense played good enough to where we shouldn't be going through the struggles we've been going through, man. And not really too impressed with Illinois. I think they're okay, but then I still feel like a good quarterback would definitely help us through the struggles we've been going through, and I want to know your thoughts on that.
Well, first of all, I can't just blame the quarterback for Michigan's troubles at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's more to that scenario than just that. One of the things that I'm seeing right now is the fact that Michigan has no leader. Okay, no leader on that offense. Quarterback, no good leader. Running backs, no good leader. Yeah, Mullins, he all right. He all right. He decent. But again, if that's all you got offensively, then of course they're gonna do what Illinois did. We're gonna key in on Mullins and shut that mess down. And once we get him shut down, we got them. I'm very disappointed in Donovan Edwards. He was supposed to be that guy. He didn't stay at Michigan all 4 years with the thought process being, okay, after I get behind, from behind some of these great running backs that I've been behind, it's going to be my time to shine. That has not been the case at all. He has been a huge disappointment. Again, I got to blame Shamar Moore because not only was he is the head coach, he also is the offensive coordinator. You should know better than anybody in the building that, okay, these the quarterbacks we got, these dudes ain't gonna be good enough. I need to go out here to this transfer portal and find me somebody, or I need to do a better job in this recruitment and find somebody. You would think if in the end the kid Daniels was one of the people you recruited, if he ain't good enough to play now, he ain't gonna be good enough to play later. At this point, if I'm that dude, I don't even want to play because I don't even want to risk getting hurt before I go to wherever I'm going. I wouldn't want to be at Michigan no more, okay? As far as the running backs that's behind Donovan Edwards and whatnot, I know one of them kids is better than whatever Donovan Edwards got going right now. I would feel some type of way if I was one of them. Yeah, we understand it's like 4 or 5 definite NFL pros on that squad, most of them on the defense. And Colston Love, I mean, dude, you can't just keep throwing to that dude all day. It's going to be just like it is in Kansas City, or at least it was, where, okay, yeah, we already know you're trying to get that ball to Travis Kelce. We're about to double, triple, quadruple team to do. That's what they're doing at Michigan. They are setting themselves up to fail. And right now, yeah, they play Michigan State. Michigan State got their own troubles, but I'd be very surprised if they beat Michigan State this week based on what I saw in that Illinois game. Because Illinois, they are all right. They just all right. Truthfully, they're not a top 25 team. They're not even one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the Big Ten, to be honest. That game should not be nearly as hard for Michigan as it was.
Yeah, man, I just definitely see some growing pains, man. And Michigan organization, like you said, Donovan Edwards, man. I remember you were saying that I definitely expect for him to play well last year. And I was like, I don't know, man. I think that Blake Corum going to continue, to get the reps that he got. And then when it mattered the most, that's when Blake Corum stepped up. And then you would have thought now that this year that he would be stepping up and doing better. But he's been non-existent, man. It's been just the lack of leadership. And I still feel like a lot of that has to do with some of the rebuild too, man. But Shamar Moore, I just feel like, man.
Right. But see, let me throw this in the mix too, Hugh. The fact that, yeah, we already know Michigan is still kind of waiting to see what the NCAA going to do about the whole cheating science scandal and whatnot. And I'm really starting to feel like the reason why Shamar Moore was put in place as opposed to somebody with a little better resume is because they needed somebody to be the scapegoat.
Yeah. He definitely.
And basically they decided to go ahead and let him take the blame because in the end, we know part of the reason why Harbaugh left. Part of it was because he wanted to go back to the NFL, true enough. But the other part because he's seen the handwriting on the wall. He's seen he wasn't going to have much left in the cupboard once the season was over, and he wasn't trying to be a part of that.
Yeah, man, it's like, Pete Carroll 2.0, man. Basically that's all it is all over again.
Absolutely.
I want to get into this too, E-Man, because we talked about this too, and this was really surprised me, man, because it was a question at first, but now I got to make it a statement. I believe people have to respect Colorado Buffaloes now, man, because what they've been doing and how well they've been playing this year. But Arizona was always a top 5 team, man, and to beat them the way they did, I was like, man, because we knew how good they was. Hell, they got the number 1 overall wide receiver coming out of there, man, and for them to get beat like that, like it was just a really big, it was a bad shellacking on their part, man. And when I seen that game, that made me definitely pay a lot more attention. And I was like, well, yeah, the attention Coach Prime is getting, man, is well deserved, man, because I feel like them guys are definitely stepping up their game. They won more games than they ever done, last season, and now they're 5-2 right now, man. And beating teams that I thought that they had no business beating and beating them convincingly. I have to definitely give my flowers and give props to them, man. And I think that they can only improve and get better as the season goes.
Remember what I said going into this season about the Big 12. The Big 12 is definitely not known for defensive teams. Now, that being said, understand that Arizona is coming out of the Pac-12. They weren't no defensive juggernauts either, by the way. But I really felt like Colorado would have a better season this year because of that, because they did have a lot of harder games in the Pac-10 or Pac-12 last year, because there was a few teams that was all right. This Big 12, they not quite as loaded in terms of the good teams. I mean, we look at like Oklahoma State and Utah, teams of that nature. They are right, but ain't neither one of them teams, especially with the situation they got in Utah right now with the quarterback, teams that where you're like, oh yeah, when they play them, yeah, Colorado about to get their butt handed to them. I don't see nobody else on that schedule. Maybe Kansas State, maybe. No, I think I already played Kansas State. Well, anyway, ain't nobody on the rest of their schedule where it's like, okay, yeah, they got a butt whooping coming. They could beat the rest of those teams on that schedule. And remember, part of this whole college football playoff thing is based on, we want 12 good teams. Also, they want 12 teams that's going to put booties in the seat. And you already know, prime time not only put booty in the seats, but he'll bring the prime time with him and the program. Because every game in Colorado is pretty much like a New York Knicks or LA Laker game where you're gonna see big time rappers and former Hall of Famers and stuff like that in the house. So yeah, as a league, the NCAA definitely wants that. They want that for the TV ratings and whatnot. So yeah, it's in the better interest of all that Colorado is a good squad and continues to play well.
And the crazy part about it too is, man, Coach Prime definitely got to get his flowers, man. But I feel like too, man, I need to, make him take a back seat this week at least. And I would like to give credit where credit is due. Warren Sapp, man, 34-7. Yeah, man, that lets you know that on that defense been putting in work, and he's been putting in work with that defense. So, yeah, big ups to Warren Sapp to, come out and say that he wanted to help him out and coach on defense and to do the good job that he did last weekend.
Yeah, and like I said, I put it back on Prime because he's the one who assembled that staff of former NFL players and whatnot. And they're doing a good job now developing them young men into some quality talent.
Yeah, man, I was definitely excited to see that game, man, because, I don't even really know the guy's name. It's Tutorial or something like that. T-Mac, man, he had 5 receptions, 38 yards, man, and he's been one of the more complete, wide receivers in the game right now, man. And they've been saying he's definitely possibly the number 1 overall wide receiver. And have him only have 5 catches for 38 yards, yeah, man, that's big. But then, Travis Hunter definitely wouldn't mind taking on that responsibility too. So, yeah, man, it's just been really a good story with them at first. Because at first I was like, man, I'm getting tired, man. Everybody talking about them, man, and they're not even the top, ranked team. But then when you see the groundwork that they put in, you have to take note and pay attention and respect what he's doing right now, man, and respect the process over there.
Agreed.
I want to talk about the big game of the week that we talked about. Yeah, I don't even think that you even wanted to touch this game with a 10-foot pole. You said I am not picking on this game, but I told you I felt like in a way that it's been more of Georgia being battle tested, versus Texas. And yeah, that was a really good game though, man. I can't really say it was a really good game. I was surprised that they went in there in Texas and beat them like they did, man.
Rankings aside, I really feel like Georgia is the best team in the country this year. And it's not like a big difference, mind you. So I'm not saying they like head and shoulders of everybody, but I'm just looking at their program and what they bring in terms of offense and defense, how they do have like people sitting behind the starters that could come in and they could plug in and they can get the job done. Kirby Smart not getting nearly enough credit as he should. He pretty much has had that program in the top 3 for the better part, actually for this entire decade, if you really think about it. And his name don't get mentioned nearly enough. Out of all the people that was out of that Saban tree, he is definitely, outside of course, Dabo, the most successful out of any of them. And he's running a very good program over there in Georgia. As far as Texas go, you had to figure at some point it was going to happen to him, because pretty much every year for Texas it happens to him at some point. They had that one where they just don't quite show up as they should. Would not surprise me all if Texas don't lose another game this year. Would not surprise me if Georgia don't lose another game this year. Both of those teams, as we saw, even though Texas didn't play quite as well as they could have, they are definitely 2 of the 12 playoff teams as we speak. Not only because of what the team looked like, but of course, they bring that big cachet. A lot of Georgia fans, a lot of Texas fans throughout the country.
I know a lot of people were saying that they were, doing some tasteless stuff, man, like the typical, Texas people do when they didn't get that one call, man. And I feel like at the time I said, yeah, that was unnecessary, man. It's like we kind of figured that y'all about to lose. They're not used to losing like that, and definitely having somebody come in and beat them like that. I wanted to know your thoughts on that, because me, I looked at it, I said, yeah, they didn't have to go that far, but it was like I understand those were upset fans who felt like they got cheated in a way.
Every year we have one of these scenarios, Hugh. Not only just in football, but in basketball. Every year is one. I mean, last year it was Ole Miss. Remember that game and how they reacted when they lost? Every year this happens. I mean, part of that, you got to blame the program for allowing people to think that they could just do what they want to do. And part of it is it's just the nature of college football. Every now and then you get to that one game and a few of the fans, they come and liquored up and they get allowed to let things get out of hand. I mean, that's pretty much how I thought. They got fined for it. I was fine with that. If it happens again, then yeah, do what you need to do.
Pretty much. Other than that, I was like, yeah, they learned their lesson, and I'm hoping, but then I felt like they got a little carried away and they wasn't used to getting beat or getting treated like that, because they basically treated them like they're
I mean, I go back to remember last year in college basketball where the incident with Duke when the guy got knocked over, the incident with Caitlin Clark in Iowa where she got hit after the game and whatnot against Ohio State. I mean, these things happen.
Just got to, show a little more class in those situations, man, obviously.
Absolutely. Remember, when all is said and done, it's just a game, y'all.
That's what I had to understand, because, I wasn't taking it like that at first. Now, I'm like, man, all the stuff that we've been through, coming up in age and all the stuff and the challenges and stuff we've been through. I'm like, man, hell with that, man. And one thing I had to realize is they get their money, man. We got to get ours, man.
That part. That part there, they here to entertain us, but in the end, entertaining us and driving us crazy is two different things. It shouldn't be like that. Basically, when you turn that TV off after you didn't watch good sports, it shouldn't be something that lingers with you to that degree. Some of y'all live and die for your teams. Literally, remember the term fan is short for fanatic, and some of y'all are very fanatical when it comes to your sports team. But when all is said and done, remember, people, just a game.
I want to move on now. I want to talk about the NFL and what happened in the NFL with the Thursday game. I'm starting to look at it, and it's funny too, because I didn't even think about that until you mentioned it. It was the Sean Payton Bowl. It was kind of weird at first, because at first I wasn't even thinking about it like that. I said, damn, Sean Payton did take off a couple of years and then came back to the pros, and he's with the Broncos, and that was the first time that he played his former team, man. He did so much for that city, won a Super Bowl and all, man. And as the villain, basically. I was actually pretty interested, but at this point, they might as well call him a villain because not only did he come back and it was a feel good story, but they beat the brakes off of the Saints.
Saints not as good without Carr. It's just simple as that. I mean, yeah, they got Kamara, and good for them to give him his extension and all that, but
well deserved.
They're not working with the same type of defense that they have been the last few years. And offensively, outside of Kamara and Olave, who unfortunately got hurt that game, that's part of why it got out of hand like that. Ain't much going on offensively with them either. So, again, I can see the Saints losing most of the rest of their games if this is what they got left to work with.
Yeah, because Taysom Hill's
Broncos, like I said, Broncos, I said in our NFL preview, I don't know quite what we was going to get from the Broncos. It really depends on how well Knicks play, and if Peyton basically got what he really wanted in terms of a team now that he got rid of Russ and what have you.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of injuries stack up over there in New Orleans. Like you said, you got Derek Carr's injured, Rashid Shaheed's injured. Then you got Chris Olave was banged up. Taysom Hill's banged up. So yeah,
right.
They got some injuries, but like you said, that defense isn't nowhere near what it used to be. And it doesn't have that same type of talent that they had at one point. But I had to give credit where credit is due. Yeah, they're banged up, and they're not playing on the level they normally used to. But hey, man, Sean Payton could care less. They went in there and they tore it up, man. 33-10. I didn't think they was gonna do that in New Orleans. What's funny is to me is everybody was giving credit where credit is due. They took like two bad teams. They took Carolina Panthers, and they ended up taking the Dallas Cowboys, and I take that with a grain of salt. They can't stop the run, and they just ran the ball down their throat and beat the brakes off of the Cowboys that game. But at the end of the day, they won those first two games, and everybody was looking at them like, hey, man, we've been paying attention to like the Falcons and all these other teams, but we haven't really been paying attention to the Saints. And then after them two games, they dropped 5. Remember, I told you that Dennis Allen was one of those guys that was on my hot seat. His seat is only going to get hotter, man. And I feel like if they go 2-8, he might be gone before the season's over with.
I think he'll probably make it to Black Monday, but that being said, this is last year there. No doubt, my man.
Yeah, it's time for them to move on from that guy, man. I don't really see much of him really doing anything with that team, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This is one game that I slept through, and I thank God that I slept through this game. This was the Patriots versus the Jaguars.
Bad football. Jaguars won. They were supposed to. Plain and simple. They're not as bad as their record would indicate. Patriots not good, period.
Okay.
Probably should have been worse than what it was. It's good for Jaguars because, London loves the Jaguars for whatever reason. And, you definitely wanted them to have at least one of those games that was over there to be a good game, and that was that. Bottom line, the Patriots, they in that boat with the same other two teams we're going to talk about. If they win more than one more game this year, I'd be stunned.
Buffalo Bills taking on Tennessee Titans, man. What I was surprised about with this game, at first it ended up being slow. But then, Josh Allen picked it up, man. It was cool, too, to see Keon Coleman get off like he did. 4 receptions, 125 yards. But the funny thing was, and I know you've been seeing this the whole time. They've been talking about it. Amari Cooper was new there and didn't really know the route. And my man's Keon Coleman even showed him the route to run and got him his first touchdown with the team. And they just took off from there, man. 34-10, and they're 5-2. And Josh Allen hasn't even really thrown any interceptions this year or made any bad decisions like he normally does. And the Bills right now, they definitely needed Amari Cooper, but at the same time, it's good that they're playing at the level they have been, because after getting beat by the Ravens and some of the losses they had, I know it left like a bad taste in their mouth, but it was a pretty good rebound game against a really bad team that now is starting to get rid of their pieces.
Yeah, Buffalo started to sneak back into the conversation of, the elite teams in the league. On the other hand, I think this might be the game where Titans actually came back home. It's like, you know what? We're not going nowhere. It's time to blow this thing up. As you see from the days that followed that game, the fire sale seemed to be in full effect over there in Tennessee. Pretty much anybody that's worth anything worth talking about, they willing to give out for virtually nothing. I mean, we all know today about the DeAndre Hopkins deal. They basically gave him away to the Chiefs. And of course, then you got that situation with Jones, and they didn't get much of a pick for him either. I mean, bottom line is Titans have pretty much charged this year to the game. I don't know what they're gonna do if they end up number one pick, and it's somebody like say a Shedeur Sanders, somebody like that. I can't see that person wanting to go to that team. I think that puts them in a situation much like you got with our good buddy over there in Carolina, where I'm that guy. Ain't nothing around me worth working with.
Pretty much. Because they've been talking about their linebacker Landry. They was even talking about getting rid of him, man.
And like I said, anybody we're talking about in that Titans team pretty much seem to be up for sale right now. That like I said, I think that Buffalo game, that was it.
And then you just so happen to get rid of Mike Vrabel and go in a new direction, and you hire Brian Callahan, and
they did Vrabel a favor because keep in mind while all this is going on, guess what? Mike Vrabel at home and he's still getting paid.
Still getting paid. And I think that he will possibly be one of those guys. I thought that he'd be the guy to look out for with the Eagles job, to be honest.
And he still may be.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I've said this before. I still don't think Belichick is coming back to the league. Well, Vrabel is definitely coming back. I have no doubts about that.
I think with Belichick right now, man, he wouldn't necessarily need to. Now that I've been seeing what he's been doing and how big of a person he is, just to have on like that inside stuff and just role he's taking on, and I ain't even think about that, man. They might as well stop playing, man, and make the next. Hey,
he the new Madden.
Dude, I was just about to say
I know where you was going.
So yeah. That's what I don't think he needs to. What else he got to prove? The dude had 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, 2 as a defensive coordinator. What else he got to do?
Ain't got a smoke show for a girlfriend. He living his best life.
How old is his girlfriend? Like 23? Come on now, you stop playing.
24? Come on, man. It's good. All right.
I want to get into
Yellow Jacket. He'll have that soon enough too.
Oh, come on, man. I think he'd be one of those first ballot type dudes.
I honestly feel like for him and Brady both, they should make that exception and just put them in right now.
Yep, absolutely. This is a game that surprised me because I thought that the Houston Texans will come out there with a little bit more oomph than what they did. I'm just really surprised that, the game was pretty good as far as defensively, but they came up short, man. And I had to give credit where credit is due because I still feel like the young Green Bay Packers team is playing really good. But was surprised that they lost the way that they did too, man. And they lost that game because of field goal. So I thought that, man, there was some things that was left out there on that actual game. And Stroud didn't really play that good, man. He was 10 for 21, like 86 yards. And, Jordan Love didn't play good at first until that second half. 220 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he had 2 picks. So that's what made the game kind of close. So it was kind of a funky game and a crazy battle. But at the end, hey, Jordan Love them found a way to pull it off, man. The final score was 24-22.
Yeah, Stroud basically, he didn't have a good game. It's like he had some things on his mind or what have you. But in the end, as I was looking at the game, I was like, you know what? Give these teams a couple years. I can see both of these teams playing each other in the Super Bowl in a couple of years.
Be surprised.
It's a lot of good things on both of those squads to look forward to moving forward because they both very, very young. Get them both of them teams like 2 more years, they're gonna be right there in the mix.
I want to move on to the next game, the Saquon Barkley Bowl. Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants, and he definitely let them know, man, how he felt that game, man. He had 176 yards in the score, and I know that they're licking their wounds right now. This still was really a bad game because I still don't feel like Philadelphia Eagles proved anything to me with Nick Sirianni. But it's just let you know too that New York is not going anywhere, man, and they might as well start doing the same thing. When you were saying the fire sale, they need to start figuring out what they're going to do. Try to get rid of some of them players and some of that talent, and see what they're going to get in the future, man. Try to get them some first round draft picks for like guys like Brian Burns and other talent on that team.
Yeah, I think it's starting to look like it's about time to blow up the Giants too. But yeah, clearly. On the man of Saquon Barkley, revenge. Revenge.
Because he put them Eagles on his back.
Again, it was one of those, yeah, I'm going to show y'all what's really good. Hand me the rock. And you could tell his teammates over there with the Eagles as they was playing, they was cheering him on. They wanted it for him. Keep giving it to him. Keep feeding him. You seen him on the sideline. They was talking about feeding.
You know what's crazy too? Some of this time we knew that my man's got hurt too, Daniel Jones, but like in 168 games, that dude ain't throw a touchdown in MetLife, man. That final score was 28-3. What you about that, man?
Man, they took it easy on him in that second half. I ain't gonna lie, because that game should have been even a bigger blowout than what it was. I mean, bottom line, the Eagles still ain't quite on the page they need to be. I mean, when you consider the talent they got on that squad, particularly with the upgrades on defense and whatnot, we still ain't seen the best of the Eagles just yet. And for whatever reason, we still ain't quite getting the quarterback play from Jalen Hurts that we should be getting. He still ain't quite. I mean, you tell he's definitely healthier than he was last year, but it still ain't quite in sync yet. Him and AJ Brown, they kind of getting it back together with each other, but that offense still ain't quite gelling the way they need to.
Do you think a lot of it have to do with Kellen Moore and his offense too? He running because that I had 3 different offenses in the last 3 years too.
Absolutely, and I think we're starting to see now there is an offensive coordinator, and we'll talk about him later, that definitely should be a head coach somewhere. The name Kellen Moore, they want to have been thrown in the mix the last few years. Maybe not so much.
I definitely agree with you on that, man. I want to talk about the next game, and it was weird to me because they're both 4-3, the two teams. I definitely felt like at the time the Atlanta Falcons was trending in the right direction, but Seattle Seahawks got their stride back, man. They lost 2 nasty games. One of them was a blowout to us. Go Lions. And then they ended up recovering quite well this game. Geno didn't do a lot this game either. He had 207 yards and 2 scores, but the end result was pretty bad for Atlanta, man. And you thought that they would be like one of the best teams in that division, or going into that this year and fighting for clinching the division. But they're just a game over 500 and struggling right now. And the final score was 34-14. Your thoughts on that game?
Well, on the Seattle side, they starting to get healthy again. That was part of the problem these last few games. They had a lot of people, particularly on their front seven, that was out with injury. They starting to get some of them people back now, and it definitely showed in that game. As far as Atlanta goes, you already know what's about to start happening over there with the Falcons. Now that they starting to come back toward the middle, it's about to get real loud in there, and you already know what they're going to be saying. We won't panic. We won't panic. Because at some point, if they continue to just kind of be middle pack, or they look like they're not about to make the playoffs, I understand they paid. Losing his name. I understand they paid Cuz a lot of money, a lot of guaranteed money, but they drafted that dude Penix for a reason. Somewhere down the line, if it ain't gonna work out, you want to see what the kid got.
Yeah, because he really didn't look good that game. 32 yards, scoring 2 picks.
It was definitely his worst game of the season, no doubt.
Whole game, This was a funky game. This was probably worse than the actual Philadelphia Eagles and the Giants game, man. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns game. Joe Burrow didn't look that good neither, man. 181 yards and scores, but it's just like Deshaun Watson, man. It's just really bad for him this year, man. I really feel bad for that brother because after he got hurt, they cheered too, and they was kind of happy with the results of him getting hurt, man. And you know, I felt kind of bad. And then, you know, my man Jameis Winston came out and, you know, to his defense and said, you know, this guy put his life on the line for y'all, man. All the stuff this man been going through and the world been against this man for the last 4 years for y'all to cheer when that man get hurt, man. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourselves, man. And yeah, I definitely felt him on that, man. And it was just, you know, it was ill will on them, man. I was surprised that they did that, but at the same time, I heard, you know, talking here saying that they booed the player what he's done and not contributing versus the person who got hurt. I said, man, that's the same thing. What's the damn difference?
The problem is, friends, that even though we claim as America we are a forgiving society, when it comes to certain things and certain individuals, that is not the case. We live in a country where right now the person running for president of the United States is a convicted felon, and we are willing not only to forgive him for the things he's said and done over the years, but possibly put him in the most important office in the country. Meanwhile, this guy right here, we can't find no forgiveness for, and in the end, let me not say that. That's not correct. Basically, what he did, let's just say, was not as offensive as some of the crimes that person committed. But you know, that being said, we've forgiven other people for way worse, okay, is what I'm getting at. For Deshaun, this may actually be a blessing in disguise because this should put him out the limelight for a while. Take the time and heal yourself properly, keeping in mind that your contract is fully guaranteed, and if you can't come back ever, they still owe you that money no matter what. Like I said, we said it before, we're going to say it again. Your agent is the real MVP.
Sure, for sure.
He got you the best contract in the history of football. And clearly you only had to do so much to earn that because you truly ain't came close to earning that money. Let's be honest. But as far as the Browns go, look, if I'm the Browns owner, as much as it hurt, as much as I feel some type of way about it, look, man, hit the rest of that money. Go live your life. We got to move on. We got to get this organization back in order. I'd go ahead. Miles, thank you for your service, but yeah, we can't afford you no more, bro. This is a rebuild. We ain't going to hold you to that. And anybody else on the squad, Chubb, etc., etc. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to start over and rebuild this thing because this ain't going to work. And we in this division, think about it, Hugh. They're not about to even come close to winning that division now.
Not at all.
The Ravens going to be the Ravens for years, okay? Cincinnati will find better days, okay? The Steelers still the Steelers, and they still find a way to win more games than they lose. You can't leave Cleveland like this and expect to do anything worth talking about. Y'all got the Super, bro.
Get the Detroit Lions, Brad. Give us your man's Chubb.
We'll take him.
Give us Myles Garrett for sure.
We'll definitely take him. Come on to the D, bro.
Let me stop here, man. Let me get to the last of the 1 o'clock games. It was the battle of the division. Detroit Lions went to Minnesota. This was a game right here that I actually thought was going to be a close one, and we probably lost in the close game. And they proved me wrong. Thank God they proved me wrong this week, because I still feel like the pass rush wasn't that bad, but we know we was missing that man. But I feel like at one point when I told you yesterday that they tried to disrespect us, man. They wanted to throw this game down our throat and, prove that they're number one for a reason. And it backfired on them, man. I was happy, man. It was their game to lose, and they definitely did that. Jared Goff, man, been playing very well, man. MVP like right now, man. You got to give him credit where credit is due, man. He was 22-25, 280 yards and 2 scores. Jahmyr Gibbs on the ground had 15 carries, 116 yards and 2 scores. And Brown, Aquamini St. Brown had 112 yards off 8 receptions and a touchdown. And if I'm not mistaken, Montgomery even got a score. So yeah, he was pretty sharp that game, man. And it was funny because at first I wasn't feeling well, you know, and you know that too. Over Sunday, I wasn't feeling well. And you said my conversations were choppy. When I seen we was down 10-0, I said, man, what's going on? I wake up, man, we up 21-10. So, you know, I'm surprised. And it was just crazy stuff that happened that whole game that had me like really in shock. But to see what they did and to persevere like they did, man, Jake Bates, man, big ups to him, man. Remember, we were talking about that dude was going to be a bricklayer, man. And he ended up not giving up on his career, man. Now he's rookie and he's our kicker over here, man.
No, that was
game.
Remember, I've been in Jake Bates' corner since the get-go. Remember, I was the kid that came on here and said, look, I see what you're doing over there with the Michigan Panthers. Remember when I said this, Hugh? Do not let that dude leave the building without putting a contract with him and let him play for the Lions. I do not doubt myself not one day for saying that, because he is starting to pay dividends, and in the end, we still ain't even seeing his full potential, because we know he got that powerful leg. It's going to come a day where Campbell going to stop going for it on fourth down. Like, you know what? Let me see if they can hit this 61 right quick. He is definitely going to pay bigger dividends later on down the line. You know, I'm definitely in Bates' corner. But, yeah, in terms of Lions themselves, yeah, they felt some type of way about people kind of writing us off because Hutch got hurt and figuring we could only do so much defensively. That being said, we still need to make a move. But in terms of that game, yeah, Vikings a good team, but we a better team, and we proved it. Especially offensively right now, we are a juggernaut, okay? Jared Goff, LA's trash is our treasure, flat out.
He's playing really good right now, man. It was rumors at the time that LA was even trying to get rid of Stafford again this year, man, and the Vikings was in on it, but then they shut it down like around 3-4 o'clock today, and it was known that they're not trying to make no moves on that end. I want to get into the 4 o'clock games now. And this one we're gonna zoom past. You know, we don't have to even really talk about this one too much. It's just I never thought that the Washington Commanders would be this good, man. And even when my man Jaden Daniels got hurt, Marcus Mariota came in and just, you know, filled in quite well, man. That dude had 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. And it's just really credit what credit's due, man. All they really needed was somebody who take them in the right direction, man. You get Dan Quinn over there as the coach, you get some good guys, you know, in free agency, and you get some good draft picks, man, and they right back in the mix, man. 5-2. But then again, you know, they did play, you know, Carolina Panthers, but hey, you got to be what they put in front of you, man. But 40-7 has definitely been a part of how bad they've been playing this year. And it's funny because this all happened on Andy Dalton watch, man. He was 11 for 16, 93 yards and 2 interceptions. And then that whole car crash situation yesterday with the messed up thumb, and now they're putting Bryce Young back in. So, yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to get fixed over there in that organization. And what is your thoughts?
Okay, first of all, let me give credit to somebody you probably would not think to give credit to in this scenario. Dan Snyder, thank you. Thank you for doing the right thing and selling that team to somebody who actually gives a damn about that community and that fan base, okay? Granted, you made more money than any owner ever in selling a team. But that being said, that organization is run way differently than you can tell. Our people in that organization that said, okay, get us a good coach, get us some good players, let's do some good player development. We could make some of this team. And you see all that come into play now. You see how basically just like with the Lions, where they say, you know what, we got to get rid of all this crap that went on before. We need to change ownership, control, and all that. Let's put Sheila in charge and so on and so forth. You seeing some of that same development going on with the Commanders, and I'm happy. I am concerned, though, about Jane Dye. Remember, everybody's big concern about Jayden Daniels was his ability to play, but how healthy could he stay because of his frame and all of that. And when he got hurt, one of the first on social media was a young man by the name of RG3, like, please, Lord, no, is what he said. Because he been there. He's been him. So he knows how that is. And right now, that community is loving Mr. Daniels. So I'm hoping that he gets healthy soon, back playing. That being said, even with the backup, it lets you know everything we need to know about the Panthers. Remember earlier in the season when I was clowning them and saying 0-17, then I turned around, I apologized after they won and whatnot. I take that apology back. My bad. You was what I thought you was. You sucked. Shout out to my girl Fee. I know you watching, but I'm sorry. It's garbage. Basura. Trash, okay? And understand, I know what trash look and smell like because once upon a time, my Lions was that team. They were that trash. They were that suck. So I know what suck is. And right now, Panthers suck. And right now, I'm looking at the NFL draft for next year. Hell, for the next 2 years, I don't see a lot of people in college football right now that's going to make your team any better. Y'all better let Bryce Young play and get some more experience because that's what you got. He's going to have to do the best with what he got because right now you got a lot of trash. That team is cheap. They butt the ass. Flat out. 1-16 all day. No problem. Have fun fighting it out with the damn Patriots for the number 1 pick.
That's going to be the situation.
And we've already had that discussion because remember what Deion said. His son ain't just going to anybody's team. So, yeah, even if you think about Bryce Young, what you do, guess what? That ain't happening. You think about getting Travis Hunter? That ain't happening either. They ain't going there. They don't want you. Y'all suck.
This was another weird game to me too coming up, man. The Las Vegas Raiders versus the Los Angeles Rams. That was a really bad game, man. It was like we had some really good games and we had some really bad games. That game, Gardner Minshew had like 154 yards and 3 interceptions, and your boy Matthew Stafford didn't do any better. He was 14-23, 154 yards and interceptions. The only thing that carried them, man, it was the real MVP of this game that made the game even kind of interesting was Caleb Williams, man. He had like 76 yards and 2 scores, but other than that, this was like probably one of the worst games of that Sunday. Man, and the final score was 20-15, so that should tell you everything right now. And the Raiders are 2-5 right now, so it's like they should be doing a fire sale, but then they trying to hold ground, man, and very disappointed because why we want them to do a fire sale, at least give us that one.
Max, you show, bro? I know you went on your podcast this week and said you tired of Lions fans blowing up your phone and whatnot, but you want to be a Raider, but I just got to ask, bro, you sure? You sure you don't want to come home? It's a good time for you to come home, bro. Just come on home, bro. We ain't mad at you. We know you loyal and whatnot. Come on home, bro. Come get this ring.
That's all we missing right now, man. I wish we still would have had Aiden, but right now
we put that brother on one side and Aiden on the other. Even if we don't get the ring this year, next year, ooh, baby boy.
Because I'm not looking at them winning that many games too, man. They're going to be in that top 5 of the draft, man. That's just my opinion.
That, and like I said, an idea where I would love to see Shedeur go over there. It seems like him and the Raiders is like a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Truthfully. But we'll have to see how that play out. But yeah, right. As far as the Rams go, they still in the mix because remember, they division, it ain't on lock like we thought it would be at this point. Because the Niners, they not our Niners that we thought they was going to be.
Game over 5, like they're a game under 500. I think Seattle's a game over 500. And I think right now the LA Rams are 2 games under 500. So yeah,
right. And the Cardinals ain't that far behind them. So yeah,
they're 3-4 too. So I think this is like they're either number 1 or 2 in the division.
Yeah, that division still could be had at this point. And we know Puka Nacua, he back at practice. So let's see.
Yeah, that's a really crazy division. I think it's like the Seahawks, maybe the 49ers, and then the Cardinals. So yeah, that's weird, man.
Yeah. I
want to talk about the underwhelming Super Bowl rematch, man. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers, man. And remember what I told you, E, this year. Do you remember what I said about San Fran? Do you particularly remember that? I've said it several times.
I do not recall exactly. What are you saying?
Allow me to retort. Mr. Irrelevant starting to look like Mr. Irrelevant.
Yes, you have said that.
Man, this dude
have said that.
17 of 31, 212 yards and 3 interceptions, man. I know Pat didn't look as any better, man. He was 15 and 27, 154 yards and 2 interceptions himself. And I think he one of the leaders in interceptions, but Brock Purdy really been looking bad this year, man. Even
right. Well, see, it's a difference between Brock Purdy, who basically looked around and said, "Where my Avengers at?" That's how one person described when they talk. Is like it's a different story when you don't have the Avengers to work with no more. Because remember, at one point you looked around and you seen you didn't have Ayuk, you didn't have Debo. Yeah, you had your tight end. But then anybody else worth talking about, they wasn't on the field for you to throw it to. And suddenly you had all these rookies, including the dude that got shot. And, thank God that he back him in. But, yeah, he didn't have much to work with. You don't have your best running back. Yeah, he a whole different player without all those weapons. On the other hand, yeah, the reason why we seeing more interceptions and stuff from Mahomes is because he had to take the lemons and make lemonade. Because they got injury problems. But I need you to understand that team is 6-0 with basically secondary parts. Now that they went around and got the DeAndre Hopkins, and they don't need D-Hop to be that D-Hop, because I don't think he's capable of being that D-Hop no more. You just need him to be a good third receiver, okay?
Oh, catch the damn ball.
Once they get everybody back healthy, and they already 6-0, yeah, remember my prediction? Lions, Chiefs. It's still looking real good right now.
Funny thing is, too, man, one of the guys who had the best reunion out of everybody. That's the best thing he was ever able to do. Kareem Hunt is to keep in touch with Andy Reid and, have a good relationship with Patrick Mahomes, man. He had 78 yards with 2 touchdowns. And he basically made a difference in the game, man. It ended up being 27-18, but Patrick Mahomes did some good running on the ground, man, when he trucked my man's. That was crazy, but it's just really good to see that defense has been holding it down, man. But once they get their players and they get their pieces back healthy, man, it's going to be a really dangerous team going into the playoffs. And
right, because they're winning right now pretty much with the running game and defense. So when they get the weapons together, or they get it to where you can't triple and quadruple Travis Kelce anymore, plus with the play calling of Andy Reid, and that's definitely not something that we are giving enough credit to, because they come up with some plays and it's like, damn, that was crazy. I remember the one play where they had Carson Wentz in and they put Mahomes over at wide receiver and Travis Kelce was the running back. They had all type of crazy stuff going on. You think the Lions be coming with some plays? They got some plays for you behind, but yeah, they only gonna get better. Meanwhile, 49ers, they was already kind of shaky, but now they got all those key injuries. Ayuk out for the season. That's crazy how that didn't went on. With all the things that went on with the whole Ayuk situation, in the end, he ended up being hurt and not able to play. Ain't that something?
But then Debo, you ain't gonna never really have him 100% consistent because he's not the all year. So yeah, you still gonna have those issues. We don't even know if your boy even gonna come back this year. I'm Christian McCaffrey.
That would be McCaffrey, exactly. We still not sure. Well, that's crazy. It is 64 degrees here in Detroit. near the end of October. This time next week, 74 degrees. Ain't no global warming, they say. Anyway, I digress.
I want to get into the Sunday night game, man. The New York Jets versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. At one point last week, I was saying broke, they don't try to fix it, but man, they fixed something that was broke there, man. Just to give the players, the receivers, a chance down the field and to make you respect the run. They had to respect the run. At first, man, everybody was starting to boo. You start hearing the Russell Wilson boos. The crowd was getting impatient. And he was 16-29, 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. He actually outplayed, Aaron Rodgers too. He had like 276 yards and a touchdown, but he had 2 picks on the game. And he definitely be looking like, man, when you see him play, like, who the hell is he throwing the ball to? It don't seem like his 40 is hitting like Tom Brady's 40, man. He looks every bit of 40, man. So it's been issues over there with the coach, Robert Saleh, and everything else. And now him getting his buddy over there, but it's still issues over there in New York, man. And the way they got thumped 37-15, I want to know your thoughts on everything that's going on right now. And,
well, on the one hand, yeah, we had 2 older quarterbacks, and particularly in that first half, they looked like 2 older quarterbacks. In fact, I do believe they are the 2 oldest quarterbacks in the league. So, that being said, that second half, Russ figured some things out. If you look at that game and you see how Russ basically throws a better deep ball than his counterpart over there at quarterback, that definitely played into it. Pickens all of a sudden looked like a very viable weapon. I know that he ain't one of your favorite players, man, but he definitely looks like he's got a good connection with Russ. And I'm looking to see how they develop that as the weeks go on. At this point, yes, definitely leave Rusty and let him continue to cook. As far as Aaron Rodgers go, they ran into the wrong team at the wrong time. Keep in mind, they just not getting Devontae Adams back. He knows some of the verbiage and whatnot, but get at a week or 2 before we really know what they got left over there. Because I think they definitely will see better days. It was times that offense clicked a little bit, but because the Steelers have such good defense, they really ready to, you know what I'm saying? But the Steelers are probably one of the better teams they're going to play these next few weeks. Let's see what they look like in another week or 2 with Devontae back in the fold.
I want to get into the 2 Monday night games now, man. I'm going to start off with the funky game, of course. The Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals versus the Los Angeles Chargers. This was a really weird game altogether because Justin Herbert had 349 yards, but no touchdowns to show for it. And Kyler Murray had a touchdown with a pick with like 141 yards, 145 yards. But it was just, how we talked about, like when they had a doubleheader, it's the worst thing they can do because we get a really bad game and a really good game. And that was the bad of the Monday Night War.
Yeah. I mean, them 2 middle of the pack teams, they played like that. I really wasn't, like I said, I checked in on it. I really didn't too much like what I saw. I ain't too much care what I saw. I'm a Harbaugh guy, so I want them to do well and all that, but I think it's just going to be that year for them. They're going to have some games where they look good. They're going to have some games where they look not so good. Definitely better than some of the sucky teams in the league. I will say it again for the people in the back. Panthers, you suck. You suck. But anyway, in terms of Chargers, they better than they were last year. As far as, again, the Cardinals, I still don't know quite what to make of them. Kyler have his moments where it's like, yeah, you that dude. But then he had those moments like, you still got that baseball bat in the trunk? You might want to go back to baseball. I'm just saying. I don't know what to make of that. And, Maserati Marvin, he's still that guy, but you got to get him the ball. And some games he looked for him. Some games he don't. It's just weird.
I want to get into this saving the best for last game. the Baltimore Ravens versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was a really good game. I really feel bad for the Buccaneers, man, because not only did Mike Evans get hurt, but then now you're going to be without Chris Godwin too, man. But this game was everything I thought it was going to be. They went up 10-0 real fast in this game, and we thought, okay, look what's going to happen here. Lamar Jackson happened, man. That dude had like 281 yards and 5 touchdowns. I definitely feel like he's one of the top 2 dudes right now in the MVP race. The weird part was they was kind of keeping Derrick Henry in check, man, until he had that 81-yarder, man. And then I looked up. I said, damn, he had 169 yards. I didn't think he had that many yards, but that 181-yard run that he did, man, just kind of took over the game, and that definitely made it even worse than what it was. But Tampa Bay was trying to come back, but it was too little too late. They was already down by so many that, yeah, man, they couldn't come back. But they made it look a little closer than what it was. I still feel like they lost by 2 touchdowns, but the 41-31 was like, putting lipstick on the pig. You still lost.
I mean, in the end, we got 2 MVP candidates right now. One, of course, Jared Goff, no doubt. But second is the man who won it last year. I mean, it's times where you see that brother play, and he makes stuff look so ridiculously easy and simple. I mean, that throwing motion where it's just like, you know what I'm saying? But then that ball, like, zip, it's like he ain't putting nothing on it, but it's still flat, like, look 30 yards. And then sometimes he'll scramble, and it's like, I ain't going to go that way. Knowing he going fast as hell in real life, but it just seemed like, oh, yeah, I can't catch me no way. And, and then, okay, let me sidearm this boy about 40. It's just ridiculous the things that him and Patrick Mahomes, for that matter, can do with their arms and their legs. It's crazy. I love watching that dude play. And, of course, Derrick Henry, the perfect compliment. And, okay, let us address this right quick while we're on the subject. Jerry Jones, you stupid. You mean to tell me you ain't trying to get Derrick Henry because he didn't fit your offense? Fuck out of here.
I heard him say that too. And then it's funny too. In that game when he went off at the last minute, the first thing they said was, what did they say? Oh yeah, by the way, we know where he resided at the end of the NFL football season. He resided in Dallas, Texas.
Yes. He will never live that down. Never. Because we're not going to let him. Never.
Most definitely, man. And it's like, to see how he playing, and then when he said he won't fit our system, man, look at the 2 guys you got. Man,
Derrick Henry is the best running back in football. He fit any system. He don't necessarily fit Baltimore's system, to be honest. They didn't basically have to change parts of their offense to fit him, but that's what you do when you have a Derrick Henry. You make him fit. Make it enough.
Because Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook definitely ain't.
And you definitely could have got him for a hometown discount at that. You dummy.
He got the money. You ain't.
I understand. It's hard to call a multi-billionaire a dummy for real, because clearly he ain't. But in terms of the football, yeah, you done.
Yeah. He definitely done on the football end.
Done.
I want to get into the lightning round now. I want to talk about the scores from college first in week 9.
All right, y'all. Y'all know how we do this. We're going to our predictions. We have decided now y'all going to figure out your own point spreads moving forward. We want to get as many picks in as possible. But remember, as always, I'm going to be on the board. So if y'all got y'all picks that y'all want to throw in, we'll definitely throw them on the board for y'all. Okay, let's go, Hugh.
Syracuse and Pitt.
I got Syracuse, man. Syracuse look good this year.
I'm going to roll with Pitt on this one. Boise State and UNLV.
Boise State, I ain't really seen UNLV play, but Boise State, they always relevant. And besides, they got the best running back in the country.
I'm going to roll with Boise State myself. Nebraska, Ohio State, kind of know this one. I'm going to go with that other team that's not Nebraska.
Thank you. Continue.
Notre Dame, number 12 Notre Dame versus number 24 Navy.
That might be one of the best games of the season, let alone of this week. I'm going with Notre Dame, but don't be surprised that game a lot closer than you think it's going to be.
I'm going to go with Navy on this one.
I hope they do win.
Washington versus number 13, Indiana.
Big Ten ain't as good as people making it out to be. I'm going with Illinois because I didn't see both of them play. Illinois a little bit better than Washington.
Oh, no, Washington, Indiana.
Oh, yeah, Indiana, their quarterback is out. So, yeah, I'm definitely going Washington.
Okay, I'm going to go with Indiana. Oklahoma versus number 18, Ole Miss. I'm going to go with Ole Miss.
I'm going with Ole Miss as well. Good offense on that squad.
Number 20, Illinois versus number 1, Oregon. I'm going to Oregon.
Quack.
BYU versus UCF. I'm going with BYU.
BYU is a good football team. I need to check them out. They got some two huge dudes on that offensive line. Both of them going pro.
Number 21, Missouri versus number 15, Alabama. I'm going with Mizzou.
You know how I feel about Mizzou. They got a good team, but no, I ain't going to let you disrespect your team like that. Alabama, they'll be back. They winning this one.
Number 5, Texas versus number 25, Vanderbilt. We'll go with Texas on this one.
Don't be surprised, good people. If at the half, if Texas is losing, we get an Arch Manning signing, and that's going to make a whole big mess down in Texas.
It's starting to get messy. Jesus. Florida State versus number 6, Miami. I'm going with Miami.
I can't believe how bad Florida State is this year. They are god awful. That's Miami all day.
Number 3, Penn State versus Wisconsin. I'm going to go with Penn State.
Penn State just been looking up schedule-wise. They're eventually going to get to a team that's going to show them that they ain't that good. I got State, though.
Number 8, LSU versus number 14, Texas A&M. I'm going to go with Texas A&M.
I am as well.
Kansas versus Kansas State. Come on now. I'm going to go with Kansas State.
You know, them rivalry battles hit pretty good. I'm going with Kansas in that.
Oh, okay. Number 22, SMU versus Duke.
I'm liking Duke for some reason. I'm just going to go Duke.
I'm going to go with Duke, too, and I'm going to give you a favor on this one. Cincinnati versus Colorado. I'm going to go with Colorado.
If you think that last game was a butt whooping, I think Cincinnati about to take it to the cheeks in this.
And they like 5-1, too, man. They're so good. So far, so good. They look decent.
That game is in Colorado, right?
Yes, sir.
Remember, higher elevation.
All right. That's the wrap for the college, man. And now we about to
hold on. Allow me to throw one in there because, of course, we got a lot of Michigan and Michigan State fans in the building. So, Michigan State. You know, I hate to do this because they my squad, but I'm liking State in this one. That quarterback thing, that's just something they got to work out.
I'm gonna go with Michigan just to even the odds, man.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. This is the Thursday game. This one not really looking too good for the Rams right now. Minnesota Vikings versus the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to go with the Vikings on this one.
Vikings going to whoop that butt.
All right, E-Man. I don't know what just happened here. I guess I'm too excited. And that's why I picked up like that. Hey,
what game is this?
This is the Tennessee Titans versus the Lions at home.
Man, this might get. Remember, they ain't got no more D-Hop or nothing either. They barely know who's going to be the quarterback. Yeah, I fully expect we're going to see Hendon Hooker this week at some point. It's going to be a blowout. Whoop ass.
They got us by 11 too on that one. He just said, Jesus. New York Jets versus New England Patriots. I got the Jets.
Man, just don't don't win this game, just throw the whole team away.
It's gonna be probably a clunker game right here, E.
It might be a few blowouts this week from what we're seeing so far.
The Eagles versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
Don't be surprised that end up being a better game than you might think.
I'm gonna go with Cincy on this one.
Call me crazy, but I'm kind of feeling that too. I'm going with the Bengals.
Packers versus the Jaguars.
Jaguars, Packers. I gotta go Packers.
Yes, sir. I'm going Packers too. Falcons versus Buccaneers. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with the Bucks on this one. Damn,
call me crazy, but I'm going with the Falcons just because I think them injuries gonna keep back.
About it because you don't have Wallet, you don't have Evans. Well, you don't have Godwin.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I pulled the trigger on that one too fast. The Cardinals versus the Dolphins. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with the Dolphins on this one because I think Tua might be back by that game. I've been hearing, and that might be the difference.
I'm thinking Tua ain't gonna be back till next week. Even if he is back, I think it's gonna take him a minute to get readjusted, and he's gonna play a little scared. I'm going with the Cards.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to backtrack on that one. I'm gonna go with the Cards as well. The Ravens and the Browns. I'm going with the Ravens for sure.
I'm hard pressed to see the Browns beating anybody else this year.
The Colts versus the Texans. I think the Colts is definitely gonna lose this one big too because I don't think they're happy after the end result of the last game. I'm going with the Texans.
I think that's going to be a better game than you think. I'm going with the Texans, but I only think they're going to win by a few points.
Saints versus the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chargers at home.
I definitely got Harbaugh's boys in that one.
Bills versus the Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Seahawks in this one.
That should be a little bit better game than me. If any, there was a time for Josh Allen to start messing up, it might be that game. But I'm still gonna go with the Bills.
Bears versus Commanders. I'm gonna go with the Commanders on this one, even though
I gotta go with the Bears because Daniels is gonna be out for that game, and I think Caleb is gonna have a little chip on his shoulder about the whole Washington thing. So because of that, I think the Bears gonna pull that one out.
Panthers versus Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos by the 10. Okay. Chiefs versus the Raiders.
Now, I got them Chiefs, but
2 by 10.
It's bad because, I like the Raiders as an organization, but now I want them to get whooped up every week. And I want to get real ugly because, Max, I want you to change your mind, bro. I want you to put the pressure on the organization. Tell them, send me home.
Another funky game, E. Dallas Cowboys versus the 49ers. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Man, as much as I hate it, we got to concentrate on this game for a second because, no matter who wins or who loses, that's going to be one of the main games they talk about all next week in terms of who won, who lost. I'm going with Dallas because they're the healthier of the two teams, and they say that Parsons might be back. But if they lose this game, the talking head's going to be on there on Monday.
Yeah, and it's only about 4 too. I take the points on this one with San Fran because it really don't matter. This game look like it's going to be a bad Sunday night football game, honestly.
Yeah, that might get real stinky.
This is going to be the stinker of all stinkers, Z. Monday Night Football. New York Giants versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ouch. Gotta go with them Steelers, man.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy because it's starting to play out just like I said. Somehow, some way, Pittsburgh gonna win more games than they lose.
Did you hear the rumor too, E, what's going on right now? They're saying right now that it's a possibility that with the Cleveland Browns did Ritter might play.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for some of y'all fan bases, I feel y'all pain. As a Lions fan, we know what that feel like. For y'all that's fans of the Browns and the Patriots and them doggone Panthers, it's gonna be a long rest of the season for all three of y'all.
I agree, man.
Titans too.
I definitely feel bad, but I'm hoping, like you said, man, and it's kind of figured you done messed around and now the Raiders got to face Kansas City. So yeah, man, y'all might as well just go ahead and make a decision on what y'all gonna do pretty soon, man, because I feel like y'all might as well just go ahead and figure out what y'all gonna do with that organization. But Max Crosby definitely need to be having second thoughts, man.
Come home, bruh. Just come on home. You know we love you. Come on home.
Anything else you have, D? Because that was actually a wrap, man. We done got through everything.
Right. Well, of course, we on add on where you can find Hugh in all his different spots and whatnot. Beyond the realm of that, no, that's pretty much it for this week. Check in with us next week. We will be talking the football and such. And then we'll probably give y'all a little preview of what our thoughts is in terms of the men's and women's college basketball season, as that'll be jumping off later on that weekend. So we'll give you some thoughts on that. I will tell you there's two names to listen for. On the men's side, Cooper Flagg. Remember that name. On the women's side, Paige Beckers, as we call her. Paige Beckers. Definitely check her out. She is the next Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese type scenario.
Who you think gonna give her a run for her money, man? Because there ain't really nobody really coming out. That's the one good thing about it.
Right. In terms of the people coming out, nobody. But in terms of college basketball itself, the woman that's gonna get the most talk that's not named Paige Beckers, obviously, is Judea Watkins. You know her, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's gonna be a really fun season with the women, man. I gotta watch a little bit more of the men just to figure out what's gonna be happening besides Cooper Flagg. And then, of course, we talked about our, Duke, North Carolina battle, and I'm hearing that UConn gonna be in the mix on they're gonna be playing in North Carolina, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And remember, they trying to three-peat, so that's gonna be interesting. So yeah. But like I said, we'll get more in depth into it next week. But anyway, y'all, thank you for tuning in. As always, we appreciate you. We love you. Shout out to some of our favorites, Coach V, Rowe. Thank you for always tuning in. Of course, Big Joe, you as well.
And for everybody who chimed in, we definitely appreciate y'all, man. Thank you very, very much.
Absolutely. That being said, you know what to do. You throw up the fingers, bruh. We out, baby.